Yo, guys, Grobs again. This is a quicker one. Day 3 update on the Poison Pathfinder. Obviously, we copped a hefty nerf this morning with Gas Grenade, and we've had a bajillion questions about, is it viable, is it still good? It's still viable. We've had to change some things to be able to do more damage. We lost about 70%. Yeah, 70%. But I'll show you, it's still okay. We're towards the end of Cruel now. I need to get into maps, but we've been so busy trying to theory craft this build. But we're cruising through, killing bosses, whatever. I've got like 2 bosses left before in maps. Less buttons now. All we're doing is poison and flame wall. And you'll see the explosions are still good. Proliferations are still good. Damage is fine. Still good. Much the same now. We only really use despair on bosses, so if anything, the build's gotten easier without toxic growth. Put the flame wall down and shoot. What you might notice, however, is that we have summon raging spirits or little raging spirits every time we put the flame wall down. You can see here, I've got these little minions that come out and they attack the mob. They are applying wither for us. They are applying 50% wither to a mob. Not only that, they're actually really cool at baiting mobs and blocking as a defensive mechanic, and they're also putting blind on a mob. Now, because we're evasion based, we're at 75% evasion. These are also putting 20% less accuracy on every mob. We're actually we're evading a lot. Remember, our goal is to go to acrobatics and have like a hectic hypercenter to evade every hit. Anyway, so they're doing that. Attached to this video, I'm going to put a mobalytics guide with all the gems I'm using right now. The kind of gear to aim for. Our gear is still super scuffy, by the way. I made this bow in like Act 2 or something. Maybe early Act 3 in the first playthrough. My gear is real crap. The quiver's alright, not too bad. But yeah, just check out the guide. It'll tell you the gems we're using. The Summon Raging Spirit setup actually works super well. Really easy. We have to use Flame Wall anyway, and they just proc off the Flame Wall. Good support. One of the big changes I made on Gas Arrow, because we have to make up for the damage loss we had, is we're running Elemental Focus. We don't really care about inflicting elemental ailments. We only want to inflict a poison. So 25% more elemental damage is huge, considering we're scaling cold, fire, and lightning. I would say at this point now, after the nerfs, these gloves are mandatory. Without them, it would be extremely hard to make the explosion version of this build work. You can still make a poison build, but not the explosion version, in my opinion. We also tried that helmet, I can't remember right now what it's called, the one that ignites mobs around you automatically so you don't have to use Flame Wall, and it felt okay. But the fun part about this build is, well, now that we use the SRS anyway, we don't want to do that. But the other fun part is when you stack up a lot of poison clouds like this, a mob comes into it and you'll get a big explosion. It's just satisfying. It's fun to do. A few changes on the passive tree, which you'll also see on the guide, but these nodes here, the quiver nodes, are super strong. Because quivers are one of our biggest sources of damage, and whatever, stats or poison chance or whatever you want, these nodes just make the quiver extremely, 30, 60, 80% increased effect of whatever's on the quiver. So it's huge. It's great. We were going to go up to the wither node here, but we're just going to anoint it. How we anoint it, it's going to be a little while, but we're going to anoint it. We don't need it for now. I rather came down here. I'm aiming to get as much magnitude as possible on the poison and a little bit more poison chance so that we can hopefully drop our poison chance on the skill itself for another support. We've grabbed these nodes. We might have had them on the last guide, but elemental damage here is huge. And we're also going to grab elemental damage here with attack skills during any flask. This is so much damage. What we got to remember is elemental damage is triple dipping for us. It's not actually 40% increase. This is 120% increase because it's 3 elements that we're increasing, which becomes bigger base damage for a bigger poison. So our damage should be fine. We ended with more damage after the nerf at the end of stream today with Scuffy gear than we did prior with a few changes on the tree. Obviously, that doesn't mean that skill is stronger. I'm just saying we made up for it in other ways. I did hear some people say, hey, but this is only during flask effect. Once we have this node, our life flask is essentially going to be effective all the time. So it's not really a concern. Yeah, check that check the mobalytics. I know I said I'll keep this short, so I'm going to cut the video there. If you guys need any more assistance, join the Discord. I'm live on Twitch a lot at the moment of the league start. And the guys will be up there on Discord. Thumbs up the video. Appreciate you guys. The support's been unreal. You guys are fantastic.